Good day, everybody. This is Dana Massett with the Mindful Mama and Ascend Your Soul. Today, I'm going to be doing a podcast discussing really our obsession with our identities. If we go back, let's say 10 years, 20 years, what made us up as human beings, what truly mattered is how we contributed to the world. What also mattered was our purpose. What also mattered is sometimes the career path we chose or where we placed our energy. So, if we were a homemaker, if we were a mother, if we were a teacher, if we were a politician, if we were a priest or a community leader, what we really focused that we considered identity was our purpose and how we gave back. It wasn't so much our gender, our sexual orientation, or even what we did on our free time. I think about as we go into different situations, and by situations, I mean things that make us uncomfortable. So, things that make us uncomfortable could be going to preschool for the first time. But the discomfort doesn't stop there. Another thing that can make us uncomfortable, going into middle school, junior high, high school, starting our first job, going to a club meeting, going to a sleepover at our friend's house that we've been friends with for 5 years. Discomfort is a sign of growth, yet I think what has happened with the change of times and the newer generations, because the pendulum is always swinging, we're always changing, history repeats itself. It's a fact. There's evidence to show that. We have changed the definition or our reaction to discomfort. Discomfort is a sign of growth. We should almost assume that we are going to be uncomfortable in life, and we have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. If you are too comfortable in your life, most likely you're stagnant, and most likely you're not challenging yourself and growing. So when we're with our peers, when we're younger and we're with our peers, and even older, 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, discomfort can happen. Anxiety can happen. Ooh, where do I fit in? Where's my people? You don't know how many people that I still find in their 40s and 50s that are like, I still haven't found my tribe. I haven't found my people. I don't feel comfortable here. So, what's happened with this younger generation, the new wave of people, the discomfort needs to be instantly soothed. And sometimes the discomfort is placed on, I haven't figured out my identity. And instead of diving into the purpose or how I'm going to contribute to the community, because we are a social species, we give back. We want to support each other. We want to help each other grow. But we've become narcissistic because instead of focusing on that, of what's my purpose, what's my identity, connected to this thing that's almost intangible, we're trying to make it tangible now. We're trying to make our identity tangible, and we're becoming narcissistic. So I want to go over some things. And this is a hot topic, but I'm fine with discussing these hot topics. Um, Identity. Like I said before, decades ago, identity was more connected to community. Keeping in mind, we're a social species. So community was our identity. It wasn't an individual thing. It was, what am I going to give back? So what's my purpose? What's my morals? What you do to give back? Who you are from the inside. Not so much a focus of, this is my name, this is my pronoun, this is my sexual orientation, this is my gender identity. Guess what? Nobody cares. Nobody cares because that is narcissistic. When we're too focused on the self and keeping it updated, meaning as you make these pivot transformational points, if you feel this desire that you have to keep the world updated on what you're doing and how you're transforming, that is narcissistic. Nobody cares. You can change your complete look, you can change your complete career, you can get a divorce, you can change your sexual identity, you can change your gender. Nobody cares. Your discomfort is your discomfort. Your identity is your identity. It's an individual relationship. It's a relationship with self. The world is less judgmental than we are displaying it to be on the internet and social media. People don't care. People are focused on the community, on their families, on what's going on in front of them, to not be concerned about how people are changing with themselves. Now, identity has become narcissistic because it's self-focused to the degree of what's my sexual orientation, what's my gender, me, external validation. So when I talk about external validation, that's the need for, as I change myself, the world also needs to basically keep up with my changes. That is narcissistic. Nobody needs to keep up with your changes. And whatever change it is, it's an internal change, external change, nobody has to. So look at where we've come from. We've come from community. Even when identity was community, we were still making internal changes. But there wasn't this pressure that the world had to stay up with our internal or external changes. The focus was still on the community. The focus was on purpose. How are you going to give back? How are you going to make a life for yourself? What's your morals? That's what we cared about. Who are you? Not who are you in a narcissistic way, but what do you have to bring to the table? There was a level of expectation that if you're born on earth, you're here to give something back. Who are you from the inside? Which again, that's connected to morals, that's connected to integrity, that's connected to what you're going to give back. So again, we've shifted to this narcissistic, and us, the older generations, have facilitated this, has coddled this, have also paired and created this, and we've given the message to the younger generations that almost like a self-centered message that the world does revolve around you. But the harsh reality is the world does not revolve around you. And the world revolves around the community's needs. And that's how we can keep ourselves in check and not be narcissistic. So I just want you to think about that, of how much we've transformed. And again, the pendulum is going to swing again. But just to keep this in check, as it's totally fine to change your internal and external self. Celebrate it. It's amazing. It's amazing the times we're in that we have all these choices and all these resources. But where it gets narcissistic is the pressure or the expectation that the world needs to keep up on who you're becoming and who you're transforming. Because that's not the truth of the world, and that creates a narcissistic, self-centered world. And we need to keep the focus of the world on the community and how we're going to give back and who we are from the inside in an intangible way. Meaning, what's your morals, what's your integrity, what's your purpose? Not what you're constantly changing and transforming. That is your business. And nobody said, there's always been rebels and pioneers. And part of being a rebel and a pioneer and like a new up and coming person that is very different from the norm, they had an expectation that the world was going to reject them and not accept them, and there was going to be some fights and some pushing, and that they were going to be the outlier, but they were okay with that. So there's also this celebration of discomfort is if I go against the grain, that it's okay if nobody gets it and nobody accepts it because I am so good with myself. So then my message is to the people that are so focused on the world validating them. How comfortable are you with yourself? Because if you're so comfortable with yourself, whether that's you've changed your identity, you changed your sexual orientation, you've changed your look, you've just changed your look, but yet you want the world to accept you and validate you instantaneously. I do question you. How comfortable are you with yourself? Because I know that if as I've gone through my transformation, I've had to just own myself and stand in my power and not care. There's power in not needing that external validation. When that validation comes from the inside, you are free. You are the leader of yourself, and anything is possible. So I really want you to ponder, where are you in the terms of identity when it comes to community and it comes to being narcissistic? And maybe even do like a pie chart. Are you 25% community, 75% narcissistic? And I don't want you to judge yourself. This isn't a judgmental exercise, but maybe some balance needs to come into play. And maybe the balance would be healing for yourself and help you grow. And maybe the balance would be beautiful and bountiful for Mother Earth. Namaste.